Crystal, let's talk about something crazy. Have you ever ridden a bike around New York City?
Who, you? Me?
You? Have you?
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to say that owl on your shoulder. Get
Who?
it? Who? That owl on your shoulder. Actually, I can say I have. Have you?
Really? I actually have, but I'd love for you to tell us the story. So on today's show, Crystal is going to talk about how she drove up to Manhattan and stayed in a hotel that might have cost $1 or $2 and rode around all 5 of Manhattan's boroughs with Manhattan's boroughs, New York's boroughs. Manhattan's one of them, but there's 4 more. And if you don't know what they are, we'll reveal them in this episode. But
I don't know him.
But
I'm actually not sure I know him.
She also met up with some really cool people while she was there, and they biked together around New York City.
Can I reveal who the cool people were, or do they have to wait till the intro?
Well,
music.
Let's wait till the intro,
Okay.
because right now I think you're supposed to say,
"Let's get this show on the road."
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back to the Stacking Adventures podcast. Every adventure has a story, and this is where we share yours. So write us with your story at stackingadventures.com/mystory. And today, Crystal, we're telling your story. So tell us what happened. You went to New York City.
Yes. So first of all, it all started in January. We had a vision board party, obviously virtual, with one of the people were in New York, Sandy Smith, the Crumbleys, Kevin Matthews. And I was like, okay, I got to say something outlandish. And I was like, I want to do that New York City, like bike ride, the 5 boroughs. And I was talking to a friend who talks a lot. I was surprised I got a word in. But this friend of mine that I was talking to said, hey, Cheryl and I are doing this, the New York City 5 borough bike ride. And I was like, shut up. And if you guys know, I've even said shut up, and he doesn't shut up. So, Joe, can you guess who has a wife named Cheryl who talks a lot, and that's a friend of mine? Who is that person?
Who would that be? I have no idea.
No idea. His first name rhymes with Schmo.
Ah, sounds like a very cool, probably very handsome dude.
The coolest person that we both know. It was Joe, you guys. The big reveal. So, Joe, Cheryl, and I, we actually went on this beautiful adventure in New York City. So, Joe, actually, before we even start that, let's start with the planning phase. So, I bought my ticket way back in January for the actual bike ride. How about you and Cheryl?
Yeah, we bought ours at the same time. And this is actually funny because you and I talked about it way back then. And it was only maybe a week before that you're like, hey, so I'll see you in New York. And I'm like, I didn't even know we had done all of this planning. Crystal and I do a podcast together every week. And yet
every week
we had no idea that Crystal was going to be there, but we ended up doing a bunch of stuff, which Crystal will tell you about. But we booked it right away. And I'll tell you, even then, bicycles were sold out from their company, Unlimited Biking. So we ended up having to go through a third party, Bike NYC. Okay. The bicycles alone were not cheap. They were $150 each.
Whoa.
But I will tell you, I love that bike I was on, Crystal. I love that. I didn't like that bike. I love that bike. But $150 for a bike for 24 hours is pretty cheap, or steep. Excuse me, not cheap, steep.
But I swear I heard you say that maybe 1 or 2 or 1,000 times. Like, I love this bike. I love this bike. You've said it a few times during the ride.
I need to buy that bike.
It did look really cool. Mine, it's funny when people ask me what kind of bike I have. I'm like, I don't know. It was on sale at the bike shop that was going out of business. So I took it. It was mine.
It's a kick-ass bike. It's a nice like teal color, right?
Yeah. It's a really cool color.
But the
Don't know.
best part of the bicycle is that Crystal has these fantastic bells on the bike.
Yeah, my two buddies, they're called Patty and LaBelle, and I'll have to upload a picture in our clubhouse on Facebook and show you guys what they look like. They are my ride or die buddies, and they ride with me everywhere. So I'll have to remember. I have to make a note to post a picture of Patty and LaBelle, and you'll see the LaBelle looks French, so that's why he's LaBelle, because he does. He has little tucks on too. So for the hotel, did you immediately book your hotel? Because I have a complete opposite story of the hotel.
Yeah, we booked ours about 5 weeks ago, and or 5 weeks before the ride. So what, almost 6 weeks ago now. And I'm glad that I did after what people are going to hear from your story. But getting into Manhattan is very hard. We tried going through, number one, through Hyatt, because as you know, I collect Hyatt points. And then I also went through Marriott. I couldn't find anything. So we went to hotels.com and we found a DoubleTree, which was right down by Battery Park. It wasn't centrally located, but the cool thing was, like your hotel, it was fairly close to the starting line and it was very, very close to the subway, which got us to everything really quickly.
Oh, good. And see, so my opposite, the week before the ride, I'm like, hey, Joe, where are you guys staying? So since I waited till late, I looked up the DoubleTree and I went through the Chase portal for mine. And the DoubleTree was $615 a night because I waited late. And I was like, wow, Joe is a baller. And so I actually straight from, where was it? I think it was in my email. I actually tried searching for all the old hotels I stayed at in New York because I was like, there's no way I paid that much. And so I was trying to look for old hotels that I've stayed with in the past, but that didn't work. So I was in my email. So I'm like, hey, Gemini is integrated. So I was like, hey, give me hotels that are cheap that are next to the DoubleTree. And I told it I'm doing this 5-borough bike ride. I also want to be near the start. And so it gave me a list. And so it actually, it listed the Hyatt, Herald Square, the Western Grand Central. It also gave me Hotel Indigo, Financial District. So I checked every single one of those because I only wanted to stay one night, Saturday night. And those were pretty steep too. But I ended up with Hotel Indigo, and that was $419 for Saturday night, which was wild. I also tried to find parking, and on the website they were like, oh, if you they have some kind of parking, but you have to stay a minimum of 2 nights. And I was like, well, I'm not staying 2 nights. So luckily, also, so you guys obviously had to fly because you rented bikes. I decided to drive because I put my bike on back of my car. So I was stuck with driving. And of course, it's Manhattan. I was like, I'm not going to find parking. But as I pull up, because they don't even have valet or anything like that, there was a public parking garage, like right across from the hotel. It's like, it was on like the back street. So that was good. So I actually got to go in and out of the car too, because I had planned on checking out of my hotel before the ride. And just leaving my stuff in the car since I didn't want to have them keep my stuff. But then just out of a whim, before we left out, I was like, I called the front desk and I was like, well, how much to extend? Because I don't know how tired I'll be. And it was $115 for the Sunday
just
night.
Dropped through the floor once all the riders were gone.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because even your average price, since you booked 5 weeks ahead, you paid way cheaper than I did.
Yeah, mine ended up averaging about $130 a night. Wow. And as Crystal knows, because she's now an honorary Sol High,
I am.
It was a family trip. So my son came from Detroit, brought my wife's brother, Todd, who was his 60th birthday celebrations, and he'd never been to New York. And then my daughter and her boyfriend, Bryce, came down from Boston, took the train down. And so Crystal, now we're going to call her Crystal Sol High because she's now a member of the family.
I was a seventh wheel on that fun adventure, but it was cool. So that was like us getting there. The drive was smooth. The only bad thing, or not bad thing, was the the congestion prices because I drove, and it made the drive, I guess, none of the tunnels or bridges were as backed up as I've ever seen it congestion pricing, whatever they call it. So I'm glad. I'm not going to say I'm glad they have it, but it helped with the traffic. But it did suck because it was $55 for a congestion toll
Wow.
for New York City. Yeah. So
do you enjoy driving in Manhattan? Because a lot of people that I know do not. Like, they're like, no way. I like it. I think it's fine.
I literally, because of where the hotel is, and you guys can look at it on the map, after you cross that last, I think is it the Verrazano Bridge? After you cross that last bridge, you are right at the hotel. Like, the exit ramp, I had passed the parking garage on the right side, and as I turned, like made that first left turn to the hotel, I just had to circle back around and just go back into that parking garage. Like, I probably drove less than a mile in the
oh wow, that's
Manhattan
great.
Anyway, so it worked out. It really worked out great for me because we saw like scooters in all directions. We saw people. We saw all different types of transportation, and nobody followed the rules of the road. If the light was red, that doesn't mean anything in Manhattan.
Didn't mean anything. You know, it was not the Verrazano Bridge. That was last bridge we'll get to, but that was the name of that last bridge as we were headed over to Staten Island, which was the hardest bridge of all to ride on a bicycle.
Everybody talked about we'll talk about after the race, but when I was on the elevator, we were like, did you do the bike? Yes, I did. And we all said Verrazano Bridge at the same time.
Everybody. That's why it's a curse word now in Crystal's lexicon. For us getting there, we flew American because that's our main place. The cool thing is that we had a really easy time getting there, and my son and Cheryl's brother got in at LaGuardia about the same time that we did.
Oh,
so
nice.
We were able to take one taxi into town. And I've had this continuing thing happen, Crystal, which is that I've been, ever since my book tour, where I go to a different city, I get off another plane or a train in another city. I began that trip taking Ubers. But I very quickly realized that in most cities, Ubers and Lyfts have gotten so much mind share. It's the first thing people think of. Mm-hmm. They don't even think of taxis anymore. And in almost every major city, taxis are less expensive now. Which is funny because if you think about the, quote, sharing economy, that makes me roll my eyes. The whole thing was, well, taxis are so expensive, you don't want to take a taxi. And now Uber, more expensive, about 20 to 25% more expensive. And I'll give you an example. On the way back, I actually left town to go to Charlotte for the Plutus Summit, this great financial industry summit. And when I was leaving, I was going out of JFK, and I went to book an Uber, and my Uber price was going to be about $125 or $130. And if I did the wait and save, where they waited 10 minutes before I don't understand what the wait and save actually does. I wait around 10 minutes and then it doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, so they are still looking for a driver, and this taxi comes by. Mm-hmm. Taxi ended up being $95.
Wow. That's a big difference. That's a meal.
I know, significant price difference between the taxi and the Uber.
Interesting. And you still would have waited had they had the ride also. Jeez. Well, now we see New York City it's not just expensive. It's strategically expensive. Like, there's definitely.
Which makes it then more important, I think, to know how to use public transportation. Because, Crystal, you and I got around New York City great just using the subway. Like, that was, the subway in New York City. I know people from out of town who are afraid of it. They're like, oh, I don't know if I could take this. The subway was simple.
I agree. And it was when I got on, because we were both close to the end of the line. We were one stop away from each other. So after we arrived, like the day of, because I got there on Saturday, you guys got there Thursday?
We got
or
there
Friday?
Thursday.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, Thursday.
And so, well, then go ahead. Tell us about Thursday. Or
Well,
you're
we just did a
leading
couple.
up to.
No, that's fine. We just did a couple of tourist days. We went to the Tenement Museum, which is really neat, seeing how people live, in the early 1900s and late 1800s. They're all in these these tenement buildings around Little Italy. So just people packed, and the museum was great because of the fact that the guide we had was fantastic, talking about these people that would come over with nothing except the skill that they had. And these people, and you would love this, Crystal, this guy was great at sewing. He was fantastic. And so he set up a shop where he was kind of a middleman. He did not sell directly to an end customer. He would sell, a place would give him a pattern and would tell him what type of fabric to get. He would go buy the fabric. He'd get ththese people, and it was like the early version of a sweatshop. He'd have 6 people in the front room of this little tiny 3-room apartment, maybe 400, 500 square feet total. No, even less than that. Maybe 300 square feet, but just tiny. By the way, this one family moved out of the one that we were in, they had 5 kids, 7 people living in this little tiny 3-room apartment, making the equivalent of about $35,000 a year today.
Oh, wow.
So we did that. We went to the 9/11 museum, which was 100% disturbing, as you can imagine. What else did we do? We also went to New York Yankees baseball game.
Ooh.
We did that Saturday before you and I met up, and we went to the Bronx Zoo. So had some fun just exploring and seeing what the city's all about.
So my first day when I got there, let's see, found parking. Oh, the packet pickup. Let's talk about the packet pickup. So it was easy again to take the train. We were towards the end of the line. So when I got on the train, it was just me and some homeless guy knocked out asleep laid across the seats, like 4 or 5 chairs. And then maybe the World Trade Center was the next stop. And so I was like, oh, I'll definitely come back on my way. Because at first I was like, okay, I'll just walk to packet pickup. But it was like a almost hour and a half walk. So I was like, no, thanks. So I took the train. I was like, I'll just strategically walk back because I knew I wanted to go to Macy's and I wanted to try to find like little jewelry shops, but I never found them. So by 2 stops later, standing room only on the train. Like, I'm glad we had such a good location that it wasn't like super busy. So I got a seat every time. And so I just went to packet pickup. After you got off the train, it was still another like almost 20-minute walk. And I was power walking. And like our segment, Are We There Yet? I kept saying every time I got to a new corner, I'm like, are we there yet? But it was cool because the packet pickup, you walk in, it was very neatly organized. And this is, a lot of good tips for anyone that's thinking about this race next year, this bike ride. And no one can see, but I am wearing my medal. I wore it to work all day also. But the packet pickup, it was super simple. And then Joe, you did ask for an earlier wave and they gave it to you. So if you want to like ride with a different group, just be nice and ask, right? At the packet pickup.
The issue is if you have all day, I don't think it's that big a deal. The problem that we had is that you were in an earlier wave than we were, and we had our family that was not going to be riding, that were all just waiting for us to finish. So for us to start at 10:30 in the morning, based on how cold it was, we'll get to, starting at 10:30 in the morning might have had it warmed up a little bit than what we had. But we didn't have that kind of time. So we were just very nice to the guy, and he was nice back to us and said, yeah, he would move us up. But this is not a small bike ride. I mean, 32,000 people rode in it, including the mayor.
Yes. It was cool because everyone's like, did you see him? Did you see him? I was like, we heard someone talking, but we couldn't make out who it was. So it was cool that we heard him, but we heard womp, 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 like the Charlie Brown teacher. Like that's pretty much all we could hear. But we could see the main stage, and we saw and we heard that there was someone saying something. But yeah, we didn't catch any of it. But the packet pickup was cool because then you turn a corner and then there's the merchandise sales. So that's where I bought some socks, 5 Borough socks, which I'm glad because they had tall socks and I didn't bring any tall socks because I didn't know it was going to be that cold. What else did I buy the first area? I didn't buy anything. Then you turn another corner because you're walking through a maze now. And then there's more stuff that they're trying to sell to you.
I thought, by the way, after we got out of that first merchandise shop, I thought we were done. So I turned to the left and the security guard told me, because this is not next to it, you got to go to the right. And then I turn behind the wall, and Crystal's not kidding. There's just a ton of merchandise places.
Yes.
After we're already filled up.
Yep, same. It's like they do that to get you to buy as much. Oh, I bought a $20 water bottle because it was super cute though. I love my new water bottle. But yeah, I bought those 2 items, and I was like, okay, I got out pretty good. And yeah, you turn the corner, there's merchants, vendors. They had these cute little bags, and then they kept telling you everywhere, you cannot have a bag bigger than some small size. And they were saying which other bags weren't allowed. Now I see why, because they had some $95 bags that they were selling. And I was like, all you did was slap 2 pieces of Velcro on a bag. So if you guys have cute bags, I'll sew your pieces of Velcro on for you. I don't think it should have been $95, but I bought a t-shirt because they had, instead of the I love New York, the heart, it had a I bicycle New York. Yeah, so I did buy one of those. And I wish I wouldn't have walked so fast past. They had these they had a booth where they had this like pain cream and cramping cream. I'm like, oh, I'm fit. I don't need any of that stuff. And boy, was I wrong. Like, so don't pass, because they had samples too. Do not pass that booth because you will need it. I needed it at mile 30, and I was kicking myself for not.
Yeah, Cheryl stopped in at that booth. I did not. We after we left Packet Pickup, by the way, we did do one thing that was really cool. You know, I kind of skipped over. Yeah, I went to a Yankee game, the Bronx Zoo. Those are things that you can check the list off. They're all great. You can look up about those in a lot of places.
I didn't do any of those. Yeah.
Well, but I got to tell you something that surprised me. After Packet Pickup, we went to a cool pizza place that is listed by a lot of people as one of the top New York style pizzas. It's John's Pizzeria on Bleecker Street. It was such good pizza. It was phenomenal pizza.
Really?
It was so fantastic. New York pizza at its best. And it's just a beat up place. We're going to talk about the place we went Sunday. And it had that same feel, Crystal, with just pictures on the walls of all the celebrities and little tiny narrow place and super good pizza. But after that, we went back up to Hudson Yard, and we went to one of the tallest buildings in New York City that's home of this big, and you could see it for miles because it's one of the tallest buildings. It's the highest observation point in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's called The Edge. And it hangs off the side of this cool, tall building. I don't even know the name of the building. But what was neat about it was when we first got to it, there's a mall underneath it. You kind of roll your eyes. Okay, a mall, whatever. But you got up to it, and all of the employees were really excited. Like they were selling it. Now, the reason they were selling it was $45 a person to go up there. Which for me, when I saw $45, I'm like, no. But Cheryl's like, come on.
Really?
So it was just me and my son and Cheryl. So the three of us were the only ones. So Autumn had some work to do. Bryce was not yet in town. That's Autumn's boyfriend, my daughter's boyfriend. Uncle Todd was tired. Uncle Todd's not a big walker, as Crystal saw. So we kind of dragged him around. Uncle Todd went with Autumn back to the hotel. So, but we went up this big, cool elevator. First of all, in the waiting area, on the ceiling of the waiting area was a map. So the room is long and narrow, just like Manhattan.
Mhm.
And on the ceiling was a map of Manhattan. So you're looking up and it's all
Wow.
glittering and lit. And then you get on an elevator, and the elevator starts off as drawings when you're on the lower floor. And as it goes up, there's no windows, but as it goes up, the drawings get filled in and then they get colorized. And when you get to the top, it kind of shows you a preview of what you're about to see.
Mm-hmm.
And then you step out, you can get overpriced cocktails up there. You can get overpriced food up there. But when you step out, you've got just these kick-ass views of the city at night.
Huh.
We were so high up and it was so fun. It was just so beautiful. But the biggest part, and Crystal, this one will kill you.
Uh-huh.
The floor in one of the areas was made of glass.
Nope. Yeah. Mm-mm.
And I got to tell you, I walked across it once just to say that I would, but people were like laying on the glass and taking pictures of themselves with the road way, way down below them. Oh my God. It was.
That's trippy.
Yeah. But it's funny that I'm recommending a $45 per person experience, because that's not generally something. I'm like, no, just to go up in an observation area. It was really, really neat. It was really neat. It was really fun. The Edge, it's called.
Okay.
And I liked it despite everything. I was like, yeah, no, thank you.
I like that. Now that's on my list. What did I do?
Good times.
Yeah, so I went to Macy's. So after pickup, I didn't get back on the train. I walked back, right, because we were meeting for dinner that evening also. So I went to Macy's. They had a beautiful flower show. I don't know if they do this once a year, but they had fresh flowers and fresh flower displays everywhere. Some were mechanical, and it wasn't the Audrey 2, because that plant could eat you. But they had these really nice displays. They had a lot of samples. They had a lot of cool, different activities where you could buy your own water bottle to paint. They had watercolors and flower power. So each area of the store had different stations. But it was funny because I was looking for the back room because that's where they have these extra sales. But it was on the very top. So it's like, okay, if these people want to find the sales, they got to work hard. They got to go through the whole store. Right. And elevator, you could forget it. I think they only have one elevator and it takes so long. They're like, nope, you're going to give up and you're going to ride on the escalators. So I'm riding the escalators all the way up to 9. And as I'm approaching 8, I'm like, it smells like food. And so the 8th floor is all kids' clothes. So I rise up to the 8th floor, and the first thing you see is Toys R Us. So Toys R Us, yeah, so that's so cruel. So Toys R Us, in the kids' clothes section, they have a whole area where it's toys.
Smart marketing.
Oh, smart marketing. And then they had a gaming area also. They had these big, huge life-size games. Then as I'm walking around the elevator to go to the next up one, oh, that's what the smell is. It's a McDonald's. There is a full McDonald's on the floor of
even better marketing.
And they had the smell wafting through the whole, because you could smell it on the escalator before you even get there. I'm like, smells like food. And I haven't had McDonald's in years, but I'm like, it smells good. So genius marketing, Macy's there, because I was like, that's genius. And so
I need
that
some
was
French fries. Why do I need French fries?
Why am I craving fries all of a sudden? So yeah, that was smart on their part, but it was really beautiful. I was decorated with the flowers. And so I left Macy's and then I just kept walking and admiring Times Square. And then I had to hurry back because we had the dinner plans. So then that was on to the next thing.
Yeah, so dinner was it. I booked dinner because of the fact that it was a wide menu. You could get just about anything you wanted. I used TripAdvisor, like Crystal, you and I have told our adventures to do. Mm-hmm. And TripAdvisor given it really great reviews. It was in kind of a quiet part of town, which was nice. There wasn't a lot of hustle and bustle. It was on a side street. You turned a corner. It's attached to a micro hotel. This hotel actually had 2 bars and a restaurant. There was Linden's, Lindens was the restaurant we went in. And then there was a first floor, like a lobby bar where they were playing jazz music that sounded really good. And then a rooftop bar that we went to later called Art. But I don't know about you, but when I walked into Linden's, it was really nice. There's a couple steps up to the hostess little stand, and just the tables. It was a very clean look. I like how open it was. I like the glass globes of the lighting, but the lighting was really soft. It was a little bit dark,
very low. It was a vibe. It was like mood lighting. That's what I would call it. And of course, for me, my old eyes, I was like, I need my flashlight on my phone. I could not see.
You did. You had to turn on your flashlight. Yeah.
I couldn't see.
And my brother-in-law, who is turning 60, he took out a little magnifying glass because to try to read the stuff. So, but besides those, I thought our waiter was fun. I thought the food was good. Definitely not as good as the place we went the next day.
Well, but, my burger was amazing. 10 stars out of 5. My burger, I highly recommend their burger. The drinks were really good. We had these, he told us it takes about 4 months just to make the ingredients for each drink, for each cocktail. So that was really cool. And it definitely tasted like this wasn't something they could just shake up or stir in a jar and keep us moving. Like these
it was
really
a purple,
great.
like lavender looking drink. Do you remember the name of it or what it was?
I don't remember the name. I can look it up. But yeah,
my son had
good.
My son had a mango punch. I remember that.
Oh, right. Yep.
And you and Cheryl and I think Autumn all had the purple
we all
thing.
had it. Yep. It was some kind of lavender, but it was so good. But definitely recommend the burger if you go there.
We just went right to the wine list. They had a really nice wine list, had a good Malbec, which was a nice bottle of wine. And that was super. So had a nice fun. For you, it was kind of get to know the family night.
Yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed my new family. But I like the wine too. I actually like that wine better than the other restaurant's wine, but maybe that's just because it's different kinds of wine.
The type, the next night was a lighter wine. Yeah. Yeah, where that Malbec was a nice fuller wine.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Then we went on to the rooftop. So the rooftop was really, really cute. Very cutesy views of the city. We were able to walk right in that was surprising too, on a Saturday night. I know why.
Busy.
We were the early birds, probably.
We were.
We were the early crew.
The cool thing though, the sun had just gone down. The sun had gone down, so it was nice, and but because it's in this quiet neighborhood, you had this feel of like residences around you in the quiet, and the Freedom Tower you could see off to one side, and it was very quiet and charming. It had this vibe of a place you could just go up there, Crystal, and talk, just sit up there for hours and talk. Yeah.
And then I can't wait for you to see. I'm going to post a picture of this too. So Cheryl and Nick and we ordered Jell-O shots. We've never seen Jell-O shots like this before. So think of like your bougiest, like frou-frouest, whatever, picture in your mind what a bougie, like $1 million Jell-O shot would look like. So it came on a gold tray. And our 3 Jell-O shots were shaped like cubes. And they had beautiful colors. Like it did. They looked like, not like marbles, but like some, big square marbles.
Kind of. That's a great description because they really popped like a marble would.
Right. Yeah. They were like
2 of them were a deep blue, and the third one I think was a nice marbly brown.
Like browns. Yeah. Because mine was the espresso martini shot. And I forgot what the other 2 were, but we just stared at them because of course they drop them and run. They don't wait for the reaction. So that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Those Jell-O shots.
It was so cool. Sadly, we obviously had the ride the next morning, so we weren't able to stay up there that long. We took some pictures, which we'll share at our clubhouse. By the way, definitely. It's if you just put Stacking Adventures Clubhouse into Facebook, you can join us, and we have great chats about all kinds of travel stuff.
Also, this also brings me to why did I have 3+ drinks the night before the ride? I don't know. Don't do that. Do not do that.
That's what it's like when you're an honorary Sol Sea High. You have extra drinks the night before the ride. All right, coming up in the second half of today's show, we haven't even started the ride.
I know.
Yeah, so Crystal's going to take us to the ride, but first we have a couple sponsors who make sure we can keep on keeping on. We're going to hear from them, and then the ride. And we're back. And by the way, you might be asking, so what about our adventure? Where is Crystal? Well, as you might be able to hear from my microphone, I'm not in Mom's basement, so I don't have any of the stuff today with us. So you've got time, by the way, to write in. Crystal, how do people write in if they want to be the guest that wins the backpack?
Yes, you have to go to stackingadventures.com/mystory, and surprise, there's no writing. You can leave a recording of what you want to say. You can record up to 5 minutes, and you give us 2 things. You ask a yes or no question, and then you bring it home and ask us, tell us, where do you think I am? And last time we had a really, really, really close. You could totally guess it.
If you're brand new to the show, we'll leave you right where you are. And Crystal is in Japan. We know that.
Somewhere in Japan.
But we have not had any clues about where in Japan. So feel free to ask a question about different place in Japan. Are you northern Japan, southern Japan? Are you in near the sea, whatever it might be? So
there you go.
StackingAdventures.com/mystory. All right. Morning of the ride, Crystal, tell us about your day.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, for that first morning, I really thought I was gonna just check out of the hotel and ride the ride and then drive back to DC. And I'm glad something told me, just call the front desk and ask. And I'm telling you, I called the front desk. I'm like, hey, sorry for late notice. Like, I know late checkouts probably won't go this late, but how much for an extra night? He said $115. And I was like, shut up. And he's like, yeah, $115. So I was like, sold, booked. So that took maybe 5 minutes. And on my way down, he's like, just re-sign the form and we'll swipe your card again. And I was on my way to the bike ride. So our hotel was super close. I had to ride 4 blocks. And the beauty of my 4-block ride, there were no cars. I don't know how they did this, because the night before, like, we were lucky. We were trained everywhere. There's trains everywhere. So even to and from dinner, we took the train, perfectly safe, perfectly fine. So only 3 stops. And then Joe and Cheryl were at the coffee shop. So I actually sat with them at the coffee shop till it was our time for our wave to get in line. But there were already people, like 33,000, not 100,000 people were signed up. So we got in line. We saw cool things while we were in line.
Well, before we get to the line, can I say something about the coffee shop?
Oh, yeah.
The reason we were in the coffee shop, and the thing that Crystal's going to tell you about in a second, it was cold as name a word.
Yeah.
It was windy. It was cold. I only brought short sleeves, which I was happy for later, because once I got all heated up, it was fine. But I only had a short sleeve shirt on and shorts, and it was, they said it felt like it was like 37 degrees, and it was freezing out. So we ducked into this coffee shop and called you, and we all sat, and Cheryl had a hot chocolate, and I had a coffee while we got warm before we braved out there. Had we not done that, we would have been even closer to the front, but we were still fairly close to the front. There were a lot more people behind us than there were in front of us.
Yeah, because we were in wave 2. I don't know how. I heard that they were putting individual riders in wave 2, but I don't know how true this is or not. But that was one thing that I had heard. But it was, I don't know. So it wasn't that congested like I thought it would be. But New York is huge, so I guess it didn't really make that big of a difference. But yeah, because I had already whizzed by you guys at the coffee shop too. So I turned back around. And of course, there were other bikes. That was another cool thing about the bike ride. I was driving from DC to New York with my bike on the back of the car. And every time I passed someone else in their car with bikes on the back, I gave them a honk. Because it was like, I know where you're going. So that was, and driving back to DC, every time I passed another car with a bike on, it was like, we're in a club now, I feel like.
Cyclists definitely own the city. At our hotel, all of a sudden there's just bikes clogging up every spot and clogging up the elevators. And it was frustrating and fun all at the same time.
But I think everybody was here for the same reason. So everybody was so nice about it. Like nobody was mad, because one of the times I was getting on and someone had their luggage, they're like, come on, you can squeeze. Because he's like, we have to come back down and do the same thing. So I got to squeeze onto the elevator with people that had luggage too. So we're at the start. And then before we even start, again, it's so windy. The wind made it worse because it was too windy. It was like pushing us back as we were trying to move forward. But we saw a lot of cool things while we were in line. We saw a kid not a kid. He's probably in his 20s. He had a skateboard. So he was going to do the whole race on a skateboard.
We actually passed people on the ride who were rollerblading it.
Yep, rollerblades.
A man and a woman rollerblading it.
We saw a guy with a drone up in the air. I have a picture of him landing it back on his hand. I'll post a picture of that guy too. What else did we saw a lot of cool stuff on the way. We saw, so the race starts. They did a good job. Like we started our wave time was 8:30. I think by 8:38 I was almost at speed. Like it was
about there. Yeah.
Pretty,
and they also, it was a wide street that we started on, but they narrowed the street at the beginning, which was great because once you got through the kind of narrow opening of the starting line, then that meant you had a little bit more room to ride from the beginning. Because I've heard from people in past years, Crystal, that there were times when you were just completely stopped, not because of traffic, because we did have a couple times when there'd be pedestrians trying to cross the street, so people would stop all the bicycles but not
the
for
marshals
that.
The marshals
This was not for that. People in past years have had to stop just because there's so many damn cyclists and something had happened, and there was a bottleneck. I don't think we ever had a bottleneck.
Zero
in all 40 miles, which was great. I thought it was well organized, like for that many people. It was super well organized. But we started making our way through Manhattan up towards Central Park, and I got to tell you, that was fun.
Yeah, that was my first time. So I've been to New York. This was probably my 5th or 6th time, and this was my first time in Central Park. And
I was so
beautiful.
surprised you've been there that many times and never done Central Park.
Yeah.
Somebody especially that likes like walking and hiking and exercise like you do, not doing Central Park really surprised me.
Well, not back then, apparently, but now, I loved it. And it was a funny thing that we saw also in Central Park. There was a guy biking with an entire DJ set. He had the world's biggest, how tall was this box? It was everything, and it was loud. So I have a video of that I'll post too. I was like, and Joe used to be a DJ. I was like, how heavy do you think that is?
It was so heavy. It had to be heavy.
And then on the way, there were bands. There was a guitarist. There was a church choir because it was Sunday morning. There was a church choir praying for us and singing for us as we went by. I have a video of those people too. Who else? There was one bar. The guy was trying to wave me in. At this point, Cheryl and Joe were way ahead of me. And he was like, hey, it's free beer today. Come on in. Turn to the left. And I was like, okay, if I don't see them stop, I'm not going to stop.
There was a huge downhill coming out of the end of Central Park, a really big downhill that we went down that was really fun. Central Park was also the only place, except one time, where I really felt like I might get in an accident because the road got smaller and there were some kids on small bikes who were kind of wobbling around a little bit. And I thought we might hit one of those kids or they might hit us. But besides that, Crystal, the Central Park was just beautiful.
It was refreshing too. It was, because there was only one time this guy got in front of me and he was trying to tell me to stop, But I was like, what? And he's like, oh, no, go. And I was like, dude, you'll see that too in the video of the DJ, because I was taking a video of the DJ guy.
At the
Because I
time?
wore my little mini camera. Oh, and speaking
Yeah.
of gear, or we can talk about gear at the end of the ride, because I was glad we got the paste. What was it called?
The
From
sticky
our
britches
guest.
from
The
Tom
sticky-
Schwab.
Yes, Tom, I cannot thank you enough. And I had to remember to take it with me into the porta potty so that I can reapply. Because definitely needed it. But my seat, that's the one thing that didn't hurt, was my butt, though, because my seat was comfy. Like my legs, but not my butt.
You had such a more comfortable seat than Cheryl and I had. But using a rental bike, we did not have comfortable seats. But oh my goodness, the seat on your bike looks so comfortable. Crystal reminded me of a friend that we run with named Melinda. Melinda was always like I run for comfort, not speed. And I think that's also Crystal's bicycling.
Yes.
I ride for comfort, and you definitely look comfortable on your bike.
Yeah, I did not try to keep up with Joe and Cheryl, because so they had, 9 miles. They had a pit stop where bathrooms, water,
it was
bananas,
a big party,
snacks. Right. Well, at the halfway point, there was a really big party. And that's where Joe was like, we're going to just push through. Or no, we had one more pit stop after that. And
we were like mile 27 when we decided we'd just push through and see if we could get it done with. But you know what's funny is that for people that don't think they can do this, I think most of our stackers, not everyone, but most of our stackers could probably do this, because you can take as much time as you want. True. You can walk your bike up the hills, which the only hills were the bridges, and there were a couple of tough bridges.
Listen, those bridges, I think what made it worse was the wind. Like I said, was pushing you back, because that last Verrazano bridge, every time I would see someone after the ride, like in the elevator, we were like, oh, did you do the ride? You did the ride too? And then in unison, we would say the Verrazano bridge. That one almost broke me. I was going 3 miles per hour on that bridge. I was in the lowest gear possible. And but the view was spectacular. But a lot of people walked their bikes. And around mile 30 is when I started cramping. So I had to get off my bike a couple times and do a couple stretches, drink some more water, and then I was back on again.
Yeah, at about mile 30, we hit a highway, maybe 32, 33, we hit a highway, and the road, and it got really boring. We just went through the one boring part of this was near the end before you got to this main big bridge, the Verrazano Bridge.
That bridge.
So before you got there, well, it would have been, about 32 or 33 to mile 36, because 36 was the quote finish line party. And what they don't tell you is there's 4 miles after the finish line party. But the big point is, though, there was a party like every 9 miles. And so if you can just, all you got to think about is making it the next 9 miles. And then, oh my goodness, all the food, there was so much food. There was great, as you talked about before, great bands, great DJs, the choirs, just all kinds of fun stuff. But these huge parties, lots of bathrooms, tons of
clean.
bathrooms. Very clean.
So many, and they had not just water, smart water was everywhere. They had the pickle juice, which I took a couple extra. I think the reason that they don't let you have bags is so you don't really hoard all of the snacks, because I had snacks coming out of every pocket and bananas in every pocket, I think. And then I was like, oh no, my bike is heavier.
Crystals, I like the free stuff. Came back to bite her.
Oh, yes, it did.
But Oreo cookies, I love Oreo cookies. And every stop, I got 2 packages of each. And by a package, each package had 2 Oreo cookies.
2
in them.
Oreos.
So I would have 4 Oreo cookies at each one of these stops. But it was great. I did not go through that much water, actually. I didn't even finish my main water bottle. And I think it was mostly because it was cold. I probably should have drank more, but I did not.
I don't think we were sweating as much. I did not have a chance to sweat, I feel like, because it was so windy. Like, it was so windy. Instantly evaporated. Cliff Bars, they had Cliff Bars that I had never tried before. They had Cliff Bars, Cliff Bites. Coca-Cola was there. Not sure
I didn't see
Okay.
the Coca-Cola, but I did see the
There's an end.
yogurt.
Oh, right, Chobani's.
Chobani yogurt in a bottle. I had a couple of those. That was good.
I had a
But you
lot.
get to the end in this finish line party. You actually stopped and got a massage.
Yes, they had chair massages. I actually laid on one was a chair and the other was the full bench. And it luckily when I got there was no line. Like there was only two of us in line and two getting massages. But then when we looked behind us, the line was crazy long. So that helped out. But then again, I had the massage, but then had to bike 4 more miles to get to the fun. But this was also another really cool part of the ride because you take the ferry at the end of at the end of your ride. So I loved the ferry. We have a water taxi here in Old Town Alexandria, and I always buy the pass. Well, this is my second year buying the unlimited rides pass, so I catch the water taxi all the time. But it was cool seeing the Statue of Liberty. I mean, the windows were cloudy. You had to stand in front with a whole bunch of other people that were standing in front. But the Statue of Liberty was one of the top coolest things I saw while on that ferry.
I thought it was just neat that you got a ferry ride at the end. I just thought that was a
Yeah.
great finish to the ride. And the cool thing for you and for Cheryl and I was that our hotel room was right down there by the spot. Cheryl and I actually went to a food truck right at the Battery Park, and
Yep.
she got like a Middle Eastern Mediterranean sandwich thing, almost like a Euro, but it was almost in a funnel. And I got a Nathan's hot dog, and Cheryl was still waiting for hers to come out when I think I inhaled that hot dog in 3 bites. I was so hungry. Speaking of hungry, afterwards, after we returned the bikes and we did some stuff. You had some time back at the hotel. We went, met up with our kids, and we sat and watched the Detroit Pistons win at a sports bar up by Rockefeller Center.
But before we finished too, like you still had to return your bikes too. So that's another note that if you're going to do this trip, make sure if you want to rent a bike, you rent it ASAP because you used a different company.
Yeah, rent it as soon as you possibly can. And they had a spot right at the finish line. You saw they had bike rental return, like they're affiliated. So I could have gotten rid of my bike right at the finish line and they would have taken it the rest of the way. It would have been perfect. But for me, we had to take a subway ride with our bike. They actually told you online, please don't do that. And there were luckily a lot of people with bikes on the subway. I actually said to Cheryl, you were in on this conversation, Crystal. I was like, I think we should ride our bikes back there. And she's like, I'm done. No, we're not doing it. Forget it. Like, whatever. I was like, one more time. No, done. So she wasn't up for another almost 7-mile bike ride back up to Central Park where we got our bikes.
Ouch. And then for me, mine was easy because I used Google Maps to show me how to get back to my hotel because it was a different route coming back. And there was because the Staten Island ferry stopped. But it was cool because there is a actual bike path from the Staten Island ferry stop that goes like right around the city. And so I actually followed a group of other bikers to that way because I was like, I don't know which way to go. And I was like, duh, follow the rest of the bikers. I bet they're going to the bike path too. So from there, I just followed. And it was only a 6-minute ride back for me. But I don't see how you guys kept going. I went to my room and I feel like I didn't have any time before it was time to go meet for dinner. But you guys did something totally different.
Well, but still, when we got up to Central Park to meet with them in Rockefeller Center, we were so tired. And luckily the Pistons were coming on. So we found an Irish sports bar and we sat down and we just watched the game. And by the way, that might've been the best beer I've ever had, was the beer after the 40-mile bike ride. Yeah, it was super. But so then we went to this restaurant where we met you at. This was a place that I found online. And by the way, I had found another place where Crystal and my mutual friend, Paula Pant, had taken me when I had been in New York previously, called Peasant. And Peasant is listed in a lot of guides. It's a really good restaurant. I highly recommend it. I was super excited. I made a reservation for 7 of us to go to Peasant. And then I got online to see what time they opened because we were so hungry, as Crystal knows.
Oh, yeah.
Our original reservation was for 7:00. So we were sure that we wanted to eat way before 7:00 because we were hungry and tired. And so I went to move it to 5:30 and it said the restaurant's closed. And then it said the restaurant's closed on Sunday. And I'm like, wait, but I made a reservation.
Wow.
On their website. And by the way, peasant, I'm talking to you. This is horrible.
Waving his finger.
I could have made reservations on the website for the same day, even though the restaurant was closed and there was nothing that told you that there. So I had a reservation for a restaurant that wasn't even open. No notification,
Boom.
No nothing. Let me do it.
0 stars.
Yeah.
0
But
stars.
luckily we did some homework and we found out if we got in early, which we were excited to do, we could avoid a place that always had a line called Emilio's Bellotto. Now here's the deal about Emilio's. Emilio's is a Michelin restaurant. It doesn't have a Michelin star, but the Michelin inspectors in their guide, they call it an inspector favorite. And it's known as an iconic red sauce spot in New York City. Crystal, you got there early and there was a line.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I guess a lot of people did the same thing because there was a guy standing outside, but he was looking on his phone. So I go in and then we like 3 people. There's 3 of us that walked up at the same time. We go in, but then we get shooed back out. And so we get in line and they're like, yeah, you just wait in line. And when there's a table, we'll come out and, talk to you. And so he came out because the other 2 people were there first. And so he's like, how many? And they were like 2. He's like, all right, come in. He's like, you wait. And so the guy that was standing there, I was like, oh, so I started asking him questions because he was supposed to be the line person to tell people, hey, you have to wait.
He just wasn't paying any attention.
Right. He wasn't. So, but he was helpful though, because I was like, well, what kind of place is it? Do you think we can, get 7 in here without, reservation or anything? He's like, you're going to love it and everything. So the guy comes out and he's like, how many?
They don't even take reservations, by the way. You can't get a reservation, I found out.
Yeah. So he was like, how many do you have? And I'm like, 7. And he's like, are you all here? And I'm like, no. So he's like, okay. He's like, we have 1 table left, big enough for all of you. So hopefully they get here before someone else gets here. So 2s kept coming up and I was like, Joe, how close? So that was like, I was super nervous. And then finally he's like, all right, if someone else walks up, we got to give away your table. And then I was like, they're off the train. They're here. He's like, okay, we'll sit you. And so then they took me in to be seated. And so as I'm walking in, it looks like a mom and pop, like your favorite relatives, where everybody in family goes to eat. They sat us at the table. The picture of the Obamas was right above. They've been there. Who else did we see? David Bowie. Like there was so many people. Yeah. Oh, yes. The Beckham.
David Beckham. Yeah.
Yes, he was there. So it was really cool just seeing all the pictures of the celebrities on the walls and the artwork. Like it was a really, really cool. And they treated us like family too. Like they were so nice, so warm, so welcoming. It was like a little cozy little place, but it was good. The mushrooms, that was my favorite. The bread, obviously, and the mushrooms, those are my
mushrooms, the bread, the my goodness, my pasta. I had a great pasta there. I had linguine and white clam sauce that was so good. Autumn and Cheryl both got the bolognese, which they loved. You and Todd got the pork chop, but I think you guys were a little less
big.
Yeah.
It was good. It was big, but it was good. It was good. But that I did have some of Cheryl's bolognese. That was really, really good.
I get the thing about that restaurant, because I do want to be clear with people. We were looking for this because Cheryl and I, we like having a family retreat once a year because our kids are all over once in Boston, once in Detroit. We're in Texas. So once a year, we like getting everybody together. And at the end, we want to have a nice celebration. This is a phenomenal restaurant for a celebration, which is code for it ain't cheap. It was not cheap, but it was worth it. I mean, we had the best time. We had so many laughs. Our waiter was phenomenal.
He was hilarious too. Yes.
Just great.
He had personality, because that's what you hate. You're going to come there and spend all this money, and they don't have any personality. Like, they had really great personality there. That's what I appreciate.
Here's how funny he was. My brother-in-law has a great sense of humor, but he doesn't drink. And the waiter caught on to that he'd be fun to toy with. And so he had Todd, my brother-in-law, who does not drink, opening our wine bottle.
Yep. And he gave him extra cans of Coke. He kept sliding them in his bag that he had on the back of his chair. That was funny.
It was
yeah,
so
that's a good place. And I think even the experience of standing outside in line waiting to get in, like, this just adds to the exclusivity of the place and like the cool mysteriousness. Like,
yeah, I can see why
waiting.
Michelin likes it so much. I can see why people like it so much. It was a really great way. It was a really great way to end the weekend, Crystal.
I agree. Listen, and that's what we were saying. We saw more of New York City in one day on that 40-mile bike ride than most people see in their lifetimes. And like I said, I've been there 5-6 times, and I will never forget every turn, every corner, every hill, every blow of the wind. Ouch. The wind.
The wind.
I kept saying, Mother Nature, turn off the fan.
Going up that damn bridge. Oh, that wasn't the end. My son really wanted to go to this ice cream place called Serendipity, which we did not need. Oh my God, we did not need it.
We did need it because it was fun. First of all, so Joe's telling us we were going to go the wrong way. Well, I wanted to get us on the train. We would have gotten there faster.
Whatever.
And Cheryl knew it too. Cheryl was like, well, Krista wants to get on this train.
This is
He's
revisionist
like, wait a minute.
history.
Wait a minute.
Revisionist history.
I was right. So we're walking through Times Square, and I was like, this place is both a zoo and a circus rolled up in one. And this was on Sunday night. I felt like
packed.
It was a little more calm on Saturday.
Times Square was packed.
Sunday, and we saw Elmo, we saw Darth Vader, we saw what's the Ewok? Not the Ewok. What is it? Yoda. We saw Yoda. We saw these the carriage, not the carriage. The guy sitting, and you get to sit in the back.
Yeah.
Rickshaw kind of thing. Except these had like super loud music. I'm surprised that people weren't deaf or exiting. And then they had these neon lights. Like, they had a sign like, I love, or like they had all these different phrases on them. And I was like,
so
this
cheesy.
it's a cross between a zoo and a circus. This is circus.
And by the way, Elmo needed to wash his fur.
Yeah.
Elmo's fur hadn't been washed in a long time.
But
this was like a 6-pack of Marlboros, Elmo.
Yeah, six pack habit a day.
But the place,
Elmo.
Serendipity, was fun.
Yeah,
we had too much ice cream. You did not have ice cream. You had a cool looking
yes
drink.
I had a drink. It was a coconut something with icing. I will start dipping my cups in icing and sprinkles. And then you
cool
pour the
sprinkles
drink
like
in.
funfetti around the outside.
That was amazing. Like, so my drink
fun.
was very good. Something they had on the menu that we didn't order. They had $1,000. What was it?
Yeah, Nick had told us this ahead of time. They had $1,000 ice cream creation that has gold leaf. They put actual gold as a garnish on it. For $1,000
gold. Yeah, you too can poop gold for $1,000.
So we asked about getting it. Nick actually asked about getting it, and it turns out you have to call like a month ahead of time
and pay. I bet you have to pay. She didn't say that, but she's like, yeah, you got to call, because she's like, it's not like we have this stuff just sitting around the back. Like, it is a
So why is it on the menu?
Why
is it on the menu? If not, all right. Coming up, we got some really fun discussions. Jen Ruiz has traveled the world. She is going to tell her story of traveling all around the world. And our friend Karen Cordaway, and you've heard her bucket list podcast here over the holidays every year. We swap with Karen. Karen and her husband Rich, who you've heard on their show, they actually just got back from Amsterdam. So we're going to hear from them.
Yay. And also, like, I wanted to shout out the Too Good To Go app. There was one restaurant, I didn't get something from there, but they had like a $5 sushi dinner. But I was like, I'm not in the mood for sushi. I was in the mood for something sweet. Which we didn't even talk about the desserts at the different places. Like, the desserts were good too. That'll be for another show.
I think it's about time to go, though.
It is. Oh gosh. See, now I didn't notice we've been talking for this long.
So, but because Crystal just keeps going and going, she won't stop.
I know. I will. Well, I like how. So one of the things I do like is like you don't have to have a perfect plan for the trip to go, like to be like really, really awesome. Because that was an awesome trip, even though I waited till the week before.
But I do think that if you can get your hotel room early, do it. If you get your bike early, do it. It is definitely worth, the bike ride is worth it. I thought, by the way, we didn't talk about this, the communication ahead of time was horrible.
Yeah.
From the bike tour, the communication was rotten. But once you got there, it was so well set up and well done. And the volunteers, if you're a volunteer for the event, you kicked ass. You were phenomenal. So it was just great. All the police officers, all the city people, the sanitation people. Just it took a village, as they say, Crystal, because they made it all work. So
you're right, and they made it look so seamless. Like, how did you stop the whole city for us crazy people that wanted to bike 40 miles?
If you know somebody who cycles, pass this on to them, and maybe they can get signed up early for next year. But until next time, she's Crystal,
and I'm Joe. He's Joe.
Keep on adventuring.